Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another live session with our prominent representative QA. We have our special guest Kalinder, who joined us all the way from London. Thanks for joining us. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, Nobin, thank you. And it's Birmingham that I'm from. But yeah, definitely UK.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm very well, thank you. Very good. So I always enjoy our little sessions that we have. So yeah, welcome everybody. Salam alaikum. Hope everyone's keeping well. Yeah, thank you for joining.
Thanks for joining. So just before we start, I will just give some little bit of brief. As you all know, in Global, we are based in Dhaka, our office in Dhanmondi. Then we also have two other branches in Sylhet. We have a global present. We have office in Nigeria. We also have office in Dubai and UK. We deal with all types of students who are eligible for bachelor, masters, or foundation degrees. We represent UK University, Irish universities, New Zealand, and also Australia. So if you are interested, feel free to talk to us or visit one of our office. And we have a great news. Recently, we have actually two great fair education expo. One in Sylhet. This is going to happen literally day after tomorrow, which is Saturday, 4th of October, and it's going to be in Grand Palace Hotel Sylhet. Then another education expo is going to be in Dhaka, Westin Hotel, which is in Gulshan. Everybody knows it. Many different countries' university will be there, so feel free to join us. Visit the expo. You can directly speak to people like Kulinder and everybody else who will be directly representing the universities. So that's from me. I will start with Kulinder. If you can explain about QA, just so that the students will know how many university you representing, and then you can discuss further, please.
Sure, Nobin. So thank you. Firstly, guys, look, please do visit those the conferences because they are going to be very good. It's going to be very insightful. You're going to be able to meet a lot of us there, and you'll be able to get a lot more information about studying in the UK. So in terms of QA itself, we work with a number of UK universities and we basically offer a number of courses to international students. So the partners that we actually work with are Ulster University, and we own and operate the London, Birmingham and Manchester branch campuses. We work closely with Northumbria University. We have an embedded pathway centre in their main campus in Newcastle, and we also operate the London branch campus. And we also have embedded pathway centres with Southampton Solent University, and I'm really delighted to say we are now recruiting for the International Foundation Programme and International Foundation diplomas with Oxford Brookes University as well. So regardless of what level course that you're looking to study, whether it's kind of an entry-level foundation programme or an international year one, undergraduate, top or postgraduate programme, we will have you covered with one of our university partners.
Oh, perfect. So if you can talk about a little bit more about that Oxford Brookes degree, it's something newly added in SAID, is it?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a new partner. We're delighted to team up with them. So what we're doing is we're offering the International Foundation Programme or the International Foundation Diploma, and this spreads into multiple different specializations. So from business to marketing to engineering, electrical and mechanical to nursing. The list goes on. Hospitality, they're very, very strong in as well. So the difference between a foundation, international foundation program and diploma is the foundation program is for the joint CAS holders. So with the foundation program with Oxford Brookes, a student can get a joint CAS. So we can basically offer them a 4-year visa, which will cover the foundation program as well as the actual undergraduate degree. The International Foundation Diploma is for students is designed for students that are unable to meet that English requirement of 5.5 for the joint CAS, and it's available for a single CAS. So don't worry if you're unable to meet that 5.5 requirement with Oxford Brookes. You do have the opportunity of coming to the UK, still doing your foundation program, and then applying in country for your extension. Oxford is a great location for students to study. You know, it's a cultural and educational capital of the world. It's got so many good things about it, and the great thing is, students that come and study in Oxford, you know, obviously there's Oxford University itself down the road, and when we visited Oxford Brookes to have a familiarization tour, kind of with their international teams, we were told that there was a lot of link up between the universities. So the great thing is, when students come and study at Oxford Brookes, you know, they are going to be living and studying in a city which has some of the brightest minds in the world. And because it is like a cultural hotspot and a tourist hotspot, there's lots of things for students to do as well during their downtime. And I'm pretty sure they'll be able to pick up some part-time work as well if needed. So it is a great location, really beautiful city to live and study. Because I think location is key. You know, I think for PG students, for postgraduate students, it's not really too much of an issue because, you know, they're only in the UK for a year, or they're only going to be studying for a year. So geographically, they might not mind going to a remote area and studying for a year, like 7-8 months. Because then they know, look, I'll be able to claim my PSW, and then I can potentially go down to a bigger city like London, Birmingham, or Manchester, where I can get some real hands-on work experience. However, for like a foundation student or an international year one student where the course is 3 or 4 years, they should really factor location should be one of the key things that you're looking for after, you know, what the university offers you, because that student is going to spend the next 3 to 4 years of their life in and around where that university is based. So, you know, you want to live in a city or where you're going to get a lot of international experience. You know, you're going to meet students from all over the world, lots of cultural things for you to do, as well as academically. And I think Oxford really does tick the box there.
Perfect. So the next intake, we're talking about January 2026, because we just finished September 2025. We had a very good number of students, but like we already started for January intake. We have a large number of students who are already interested, but they are getting offer letter now. You know, they are preparing for the interview. So I always suggest a student, like, you know, just apply as early as possible if you determine to do so. It's always better, because especially for January intake, time is very, very limited. Like, you know, you can hardly apply maybe end of this month or mid of November. After that, it's just too tight to catch January intake.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, especially with the new kind of what, you know, the implemented changes that the UK government have come out with, which is based all around enrollment and progression rates. Historically, UK universities were pretty lenient. They would give you a bit of flexibility. So, you know, when the CAS deadline was, for example, if it was this date, they would always give you like a week or two extension. So just so you could get so students could still make their visa applications or get their CAS letters. With the new enrollment rules, the UK universities are going to be a lot more tighter when it comes to a CAS deadline. So if a CAS deadline is this date, then they are not going to move from that date. So what I would just recommend, guys, is whenever you're looking to study in the UK or you're making your application, you might be applying 2, 3, 4 months in advance. What I would recommend is please start getting all your CAS documents ready. So as soon as you've made your application to a UK university, ensure that you have your CAS documents ready, because the last thing you want to do is go through the entire application process, you know, do a pre-CAS interview, all of that stuff. And then you're like, okay, right, I've got my unconditional offer, I've paid my fees, I've passed my interview. I need to now apply for my CAS. Oh, wait, I actually still need to get my bank statements ready. And then you miss the enrollment date, because especially for the foundation programs, historically, if you miss the foundation program in January, with pretty much every other provider in the UK, you have to then wait 9 months for that course to come back around, which is a September intake. We do offer a March intake, which is really good. So if a student does miss a January intake, for example, their CAS documents might not be ready, or the bank statement wasn't ready, or they didn't get their TB certificate back in time, or they were just waiting for a certain document which didn't come through, and that means they've missed the January intake. We can still offer them a March intake with Northumbria University, but historically, what happens with those students is they would then have to wait 9 months for that course to come back around. So, CAS documents are very, very important, and I think just being prepared with your application is key.
Perfect. Can you talk a little bit about scholarship? Because normally a student would ask, like, how much scholarship will
Yeah. So
be.
look, I think with scholarships, I think it's very easy to kind of cover off. So with Ulster University for the UG for the programs, it's a 15% scholarship. Northumbria University in our branch campus in central London, we offer a 30% scholarship for the courses that we offer there. And with foundation programs, it's slightly different because look, there's two different types of scholarships. So with the PG and UG, it's very simple. Look, this one course, the student is going to get one set scholarship and it's going to cover their entire course. However, with the foundation program, it's different because there's two scholarships at play. One is the scholarship that they get for their foundation program, and then the second scholarship is what they actually get when they progress on to their undergraduate degree. So
Provision year.
yeah, so with Oxford Brookes University, we're offering a £3,000 scholarship off the foundation program. With Southampton Solent, we're offering a 20% scholarship off the foundation programs as well as the International Year 1 offering. And then with Northumbria University, with the foundation program, it's actually broken into a 6, 9 or 12-month option. So if the student was to take a condensed 6-month option, it's 20%. If they were to take a standard 9-month option or a 3-term 12-month option, then the student would receive a 30% scholarship. Yeah. So the great thing is we do cover off scholarships. So every one of our courses, students will get a scholarship. And I think what I really like about with our foundation programs, especially, is for any of the foundation students or International Year 1 students that are on this call or listening to this session, you do have to be very careful when you're looking at a foundation provider, because unfortunately what a lot of providers will do is they will top load that scholarship. So for example, they will put the bulk of the student scholarship into the foundation program. So a student, they'll get their offer letter and they'll say, oh wow, okay, I've got a foundation program for £8,000 or £9,000. That's really great. I'll apply for this program. And then the student does the foundation program, goes on to their undergraduate degree, and unfortunately, there's no follow-on scholarship. And what will happen is the student, from paying £8,000 or £9,000 for their foundation, they will get an offer for their undergraduate course, and it will be £16,000, £17,000, £18,000, and that is a massive jump up. And this is where issues can arise. Or what some pathway providers are doing is they will give a decent scholarship up front, and then they'll say, okay, to the student, we'll give you a £3,000 scholarship on your first year. Student thinks, okay, that's great. My scholarship isn't as much as the other one, but I'm getting a scholarship on my first year of my studies. So the student takes that foundation program. They then progress onto their undergraduate course. And what will happen is they'll get their offer letter and it will say a full fee on there. And they'll say, but you promised me a £3,000 scholarship. And those pathway providers will say, yeah, that was on the basis of you scoring 80 or 90% in your foundation. Unfortunately, you got 70%. You're not eligible for this scholarship. So what I like about QA is that we don't top load the scholarship. So, we're not just going to put it all in the foundation and then let the student struggle. And we don't have any hidden catches. So the scholarships that we offer are guaranteed for the student, and that student will get that scholarship regardless of as long as they've passed their foundation program. There's no kind of secret magic number the student needs to hit. Whether the student scored 100% or 60%, whatever the pass mark is, they will automatically be given that scholarship. So I think it's very key that students do look into that and research that a lot more when they're looking to apply for the foundation programs. And in terms of the foundation programs, look, I know it adds an extra year onto student study, but really, I think it's vital for students, because I always give this example. With students, why do I have to take a foundation program? So let's say I'm a student from Bangladesh. Okay, so for 12 years of my life, every day I've gone into class. Lecturers come in, morning class, morning sir. He writes a question on the board, and I've got this textbook in front of me, and I know through my entire academic year, everything that I need to know is going to be based on this textbook, right? So sir writes a question on the board, I look in the textbook, open it up, find the answer, write it down. And I know through my entire academic year, everything that I need to know and learn is in this textbook, okay? So about a month before my exams are due to start, I literally open the first page, and I memorize every single page in this book. And then at the end of the year, I have my exam and I pass based on how good my memory skills are. That, in a nutshell, is theory-based education. Nothing wrong with that. However, in the UK, we do have a theoretical-based learning as well, but we also have a practical element. And this is where students really struggle, because let's say I'm a student from Bangladesh and I've come to the UK and I've gone into a direct entry undergraduate degree. Firstly, if I'm a student from Bangladesh and I've come on a 3-year degree, I'm going to have lived at home. I'm going to be in the age group of around 18 to 23, 24 years old. Let's be honest, I'm going to have lived at home with mom and dad. Mom's washed my clothes, made my favorite food, biryani, whenever I wanted. Dad picks me up or drops me off at college if I'm late. So I've lived a very comfortable life. All of a sudden, I'm in the UK. I don't know anybody. It's cold. It's wet. So automatically, I'm on the back foot. I then go into my first lecture. Let's picture this scenario. So lecture hall, you're in a lecture hall, auditorium of around 60, 70 students. About 50 of those are UK students. Lecturer comes in, morning class, morning. So lecturer starts he starts talking about a certain subject area for about 30 minutes. And academic English compared to regular English is completely different. Some of the context and terms that the teachers will be using, I've never heard in my life, because the English that I've really learned is more kind of spoken English. So what I've learned from watching TV shows, watching movies, or listening to music, etc. So I spent half an hour talking about something that I don't know, and I've just written some random notes. And then he asks a question and says, right, class, does everybody understand that? Did everybody get the correct answer? If the vast majority of that class has said yes, and I didn't get it, I am not going to put my hand up and say, sorry, sir, I know you spent 30, 40 minutes talking about that scenario. Can you just repeat it? Because I didn't understand what you said. I will literally be like this. I'd put my head down and I'll be like, please, God, don't let sir ask me a question. I'm just going to try and get through this class. And that's the problem, because what's going to happen is me as that student, it's going to take me at least 6 to 8 weeks to reprogram my brain from looking in a book to finding an answer to actually thinking for myself. Now, you take 6 to 8 weeks into somebody's first semester, that's a large chunk of their first semester gone. And what will happen is the student, with all the additional pressures of, I don't know anybody, it's cold, it's wet, etc., plus I don't understand the educational style, they're just going to, unfortunately, they will drop out within 6 months. And it's heartbreaking to see students drop out. And this happens up and down the UK, at every UK university. Students from a theoretical-based learning style go in and think they will be able to do a direct bachelor's degree straight off the bat. And unfortunately, they don't really have the developed skill set to kind of succeed. So this is why the foundation program is so important, because what it does is, for 2 semesters, the student would come to the UK. There'd be in a smaller class size of around 10, 15 students. It would and the majority of those students are international students, so they're all in the same boat. And what's going to happen is it's going to develop, they're going to have more one-on-one time with the lecturer. We're going to develop all the skills that they need, how to do research, how to do a dissertation, develop their IT skills, develop their English skills. And it gets them acclimatized. They'll have a year in the UK. They'll know their way around the UK. They will have got used to the cultural side of the UK. So when they then go on to their undergraduate degree, they're at the same level that every other student is at. So when they then go into that classroom of 70 to 80 students and sir asks them a question, they can put their hand up and say, yes, sir, this is the answer. And this is why that International Foundation Program is so important. It does add an extra year onto their studies, but that year is critical. It's extremely critical, because that year is going to give them more chance of completing a degree instead of dropping out and being home after 6 months.
Thanks. Yeah, so it's always challenging for international students, like starting straight away to maybe undergraduate or master's graduate, different way of teaching method and everything, so it's always helpful. But if you are confident enough and if you are fully eligible for direct entry, there is no problem. Nobody is stopping you to join a direct course. But this foundation course are for somebody Kali already explained, like you are not sure how you will get on, like, so it's a extra add-on class, and then it will prepare you for the main course. It will be very,
We
very
also have
beneficial.
we also have an international year one option. So basically, that the great thing with the international year one program is a UK bachelor's degree is 3 years. The international year one
Yes, yeah.
program is 3 years. It's just during that critical first year where the students at the most risk of dropping out, instead of being in a classroom of 80, 60, 70 students, during that first year of their degree, they will be in a smaller class size, very similar to a foundation course, and that student will get all the support and guidance they need during their first year of their undergraduate degree. So the great thing with the International Year One program is, just think of basically that foundation program is incorporated and blended into the first year of the student's undergraduate degree. So that degree still stays 3 years, but during that critical first year where the student's at most risk of dropping out, they've got all that support and guidance. So for me, if a student does have the option of going direct entry or going by the International Year One route, I would always look to promote the International Year One route. As I said, nothing really changes. If you go on the International Year One route, your degree will not say, oh, Kully took a BA Honours Business Management, here's his certificate, but then in big red writing underneath, he took the International Year One route. The end awarded degree is exactly the same.
And it's first year.
Yeah, so basically it's exactly the same, and it gives the student that safety net during that first year where they're more likely to drop out because they don't understand the educational style. So anybody that's looking to take an undergraduate degree, and there is the International Year One option, I would definitely look to take the International Year One option because it just gives you guys that safety net. And it's key. Look, I think it's very important for us to promote this program because it gives the students, it's heartbreaking to see parents that have saved all their lives, sold land, done whatever it takes to send their child abroad for that child to be then home after 6 months because they just weren't aware of how difficult the UK educational system is.
Yeah, just in a nutshell, because it might sound a little bit complicated for audience, like year one or year zero or foundation course. Like we face that all the time. So the best option is visit our office or call us. Like we can explain all this in detail. So then
Yeah.
you will have more knowledge that what it means by year one, what you will get by doing this 1 year course or foundation course. If you need more discussion, feel free to
Yeah,
call us.
100%. It is something.
Like, because even for our counselors, like the new counselors, we're finding, they find it difficult to learn. Like so I think about this students' perspective. Maybe they are also confused, but it's actually very simple once somebody explain you properly. So you don't need to worry about too much. Like you can call us. We'll go through each year and each component of this course. Like there is no problem. And just if you explain about the tuition, because you already mentioned about the scholarship, which is good, and then tuition fees roughly for, let's say, foundation course and undergraduate and PG.
Sure. So in terms of the actual foundation programs, the course fees roughly work out to, I'm just going to kind of cover this off. So with Oxford Brookes for the foundation diploma, works out to £16,000, and then obviously you take off the £3,000 scholarship, and then yeah, and then depends on which foundation program you take, but their foundation programs roughly range from around £16,000 up to around £17,500 for their foundation programs. With Northumbria University, the foundation programs start at £11,750 and go up to £21,000, depending on how many semesters you take. Don't forget, you then take off the 20 or 30% scholarship. And the International Year One program for Northumbria University is £17,250, where we offer a 30% scholarship on that. So, for example, with Northumbria University, if a student wanted to study the International Year One program with us in our London branch campus, we would offer that student and guarantee that student a 30% scholarship for every year that they study with us. So just for example, if I can just kind of quickly cover this off, because I think it's an amazing offer that we're currently running with Northumbria University. Look, I think three key things that students will always look at is when they're looking at the UK is 9 times out of 10, a student will come and see you guys and say, or students that are listening, they want London as a location because, London is a cultural capital of pretty much the world. And there's a large Bangladeshi community there. They're probably always going to have a relative there. They can get the food that they used to eat back home. And it's easier to acclimatize when you've got people from your own country there. So London is definitely one thing that they'll look at. Number two is they want to go to a university that is going to open up doors for them wherever they go in the world. So whether they go back home and their ideal job is to work as a business development manager or a global manager for Grameenphone, or whether they want to go to the Middle East and work for a big multinational company there, or whatever their aspirations or dreams are, they want to be able to pay for a degree and gain that knowledge to then, wherever they go in the world, that this degree and knowledge is going to give them the opportunity to better themselves. Northumbria University will do that. It is a very strong globally ranked university. It's in the top 400. I think it's ranked 401 to 500 in the world. It's regularly been voted University of the Year. In fact, it won Modern University of the Year in 2024, University of the Year in 2022. It's in the top 25 in the UK for its research powers. This university really is extremely strong. And with the offer that we have, so again, that ticks off. I want a degree from a university that's going to open up doors for me wherever I go in the world. And finally, I want the best value for money. Unfortunately, the world at the moment that we live in is in chaos. Every corner of the world, there's issues or there's wars, and currencies are extremely volatile. And unfortunately, in South Asia, it just seems like the currency is only going one way, and that's down. So students are now looking for a lot more value for money. That's question number 3. And with NU, in our London branch campus for the International Year 1 programs, we are guaranteeing a student a 30% scholarship every year without any hidden catches or anything. Students don't have to meet a certain entry point or score a certain point in their degree to actually be eligible for that scholarship. We will guarantee that student that scholarship every single year. So the course is for 3 years, 30%, 30%, 30%. That works out to about a 90% scholarship over 3 years, which pretty much equates to 1 year's fees covered off on scholarship. And the kind of courses that we offer are the BSc Honours in Global Business Management, and then we've got specializations in that. So a student could take a BSc Honours Global Business Management in Logistics and Supply Chain, in Marketing, in HR, International Tourism, Hospitality and Events, Accounting and Finance, International Banking and Finance, and Business Enterprise and Innovation Management. So that, if we do have any students that are interested in that specific course subject, then this program ticks all the boxes for you. And we are actually we run this in January and September, so we can still go. You can still, if you are looking or considering coming to the UK for January, then these courses are now live with that offer.
Perfect. So yeah, we touched on important things. I think the scholarship and tuition fees. You already mentioned about the location, and especially with the Northumbria University. Yeah, we have large numbers of students going from Bangladesh to Northumbria, obviously with Ulster as well. Depending where they want to locate. Kali already mentioned about London, but there is another big city where he lives in, Birmingham. That's another huge Asian community, halal food and everything. So it's also another interesting city, Birmingham. I always recommend students to go to Birmingham.
Birmingham is a great location. I think because we are in the heart of the UK, so you're only ever going to be, you're an hour and a half from Manchester, hour and a half from London. It's more cost effective to kind of live in Birmingham, although prices are going up globally. But it is a great city. I think you do have very strong South Asian communities here. So the great thing is, you can be walking through the city centre and you can see families from all over the world as just living in relative peace and harmony. So it's a great location to live and study.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so we won't be long. I know you're busy today, so we're not going to take any questions. Every live session we have questions, but we are very limited time. So just in a nutshell, before we finish, I will wrap up just saying feel free to visit our education expo. Again, I will remind in Sylhet is going to be 4th of October in Grand Palace Hotel, and then 11th of October in Dhaka. That will be in Hotel Westin. So there will be actually universities from UK, many universities from UK, obviously Northumbria, Ulster, they will be there. And then universities from Ireland, university from New Zealand, and some parts of European universities will be there. So it's a great opportunity to directly interact with the university. I find it very interactive because the universities also get to know the students and the vice versa, and then the students also get this opportunity. So if you are interested, feel free to visit this expo, and you are always welcome to our office. Our experienced counselor will be always happy to help you. We provide full service, getting offer letter, preparing for interview, class interview, obviously visa application, banking support, and it's all free of charge because we work with authorized partner. We are direct partner, and we don't really charge anything from the students, so there is no risk from your end. I would like to give a special thanks to Kulinder for joining us all the way from UK. We will host another one maybe after a few weeks so that we can discuss more in detail because there is a lot to discuss actually, but we can't
Yeah,
cover in one session,
definitely. I think what we can do is we'll start. We can start to kind of do separate sessions. So I know I covered a lot of foundation and international year one
Foundation. That's
programs
fine.
this
Yeah,
session.
yeah.
I think what we'll do is next time we can do a PG one or a UG
PG
one.
and UG. Yeah, yeah.
And then we can keep carrying. I think what we'll do is we'll just spread them out like that, and then we can do a generic one as well if you want to. But yeah, look, guys, I always love working and doing these sessions with you guys. Anybody that's listening, Global are a great partner to work with, very reputable, and definitely do. If you are interested in studying in the UK, then these expos are really good to go to because you're not just going to be kind of looking at the internet or getting information. You're going to be speaking to real people. You can sit down with them and you'll get a really good understanding of, okay, so this is what I'm going to be offered. These are the scholarships. These are the courses that I can take. And what I would always just say, guys, is before you go to these expos, have a look at which universities they're going to attend and have some questions like, what is my employability? What are the employability rates like? Is there accommodation? How much is the accommodation? Do you give any additional scholarship on merit? So have a real good think about what you want
That's
to
right.
get
Yeah.
from your education. Get these questions written down and then go to the expo and you'll be able to speak to people that will be able to answer this, not just virtually like this, but face to face, which is always good.
Perfect. Thanks for joining, Kelly. Look
You're
forward to
more
seeing
than
you again.
welcome. Great.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Okay. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.